Tickety tock, TikTok is back. And listen, let's be very clear here. Democrats, you're the ones that allowed this to happen. Now, to be clear, remember, Trump was also calling for a TikTok ban when he was president of these United States. But first, let's really address the major issue, and that is I want to pull up this tweet from Nina Turner. Nina Turner says, "Congratulations, Democrats. The TikTok ban was initiated by Trump, passed through the House and Senate along bipartisan lines. Yet because President Biden signed the bill into law, Democrats allowed Trump to be the hero on this politically. Absolute malpractice by leadership." Now, you could say whatever you want about TikTok. I have my opinions about it too. I have my opinions about a lot of social media platforms. However, I am against censorship. I am against the suppression of free speech. Okay. And I don't like seeing apps being taken down. I don't like all these guidelines and restrictions being put upon independent media. You could tell where I'm standing on this, but a statement from TikTok. Here it is as follows. In agreement with our service providers, TikTok is in the process of restoring service. We thank President Trump. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me repeat that again. We thank President Trump. Oh, sorry, can't read English. We thank President Trump for providing the necessary clarity and assurance to our service providers that they will face no penalties providing TikTok to over 170 million Americans and allowing over 7 million small businesses to thrive. It's a strong stand for the First Amendment and against arbitrary censorship, which I have to agree with. We will work with President Trump on a long-term solution that keeps TikTok in the United States. So recently, I did a poll on our YouTube page and our community page where who will save TikTok, Mr. Beast, Donald Trump, someone else, or Deep Dish Pizza, and moving on. And while it looks like Deep Dish Pizza was winning, Donald Trump is more or less the person who is going to be taking this to the bank. Here's his statement of his victory that the Democrats have allowed to happen because the Democrats are filled with morons, idiots, and to use my favorite Logan Roy quote, "I love you, but you are not serious people."
And as of today, TikTok is back. So, I did a little TikTok thing. We have a guy, TikTok Jack. He's a young kid, like 21 years old. And we hired this guy, and I went on TikTok. Can you believe what I'll do to win an election? And we went on TikTok, and Republicans have never won the young vote, the youth vote. They win a lot of votes, but they never won the youth vote. We won the youth vote by 36 points. So I like TikTok. I like it. I like it. I had a slightly good experience, wouldn't you say? Romney lost it by 40 points. Not so long ago, we won it by 36 points. That's a very big spread.
So that's a huge win. And let's face it, in this day and age, he who is able to take advantage of social media is going to be the absolute winner. I mean, this was shown back in 2008 with Barack Obama, and it's becoming abundantly clear that social media, the internet, is a force that is to remain. It's not going away. It is something that's going to be part of our lives. Are we flying into a deep, dark, depressing Blade Runner type future? The answer is most likely probably yes. Not even the people who write the stories for Black Mirror or The Outer Limits or Twilight Zone could even come up with stuff that we are seeing now. It says a lot about our day and age. I also want to pull this little message up here from one of our moderators, Mastermind Hour. How long will it be before Elon wears out his welcome at the White House? Well, here's the thing, and we'll be talking about that later, Mastermind, once the inauguration ceremony is somewhat over. Vivek, he's no longer with Doge. So I want to pull this up here. This is from an account called Power to the People, Proud Socialists. LMAO, Trump actually did save TikTok. The Democrats just keep handing Trump easy wins. Welcome back. Thanks for your patience and support. As a result, let me pull this up here. Sorry about that. Thought I had it up here. Thanks for your patience and support. As a result of President Trump's efforts, TikTok is back in the U.S. You can continue to create, share, discover all things you love on TikTok, which here's the thing, folks. As a content creator, as somebody who's been in this business now going on for 7.5 years now, probably it's going to be very soon, 8 years. I know what it's like when you can lose it all. And unfortunately, for a lot of these people at TikTok, it must have been a huge panic because there's a lot of people who have TikTok as their main flagship for their businesses and how they do content. And there are people in independent media that are also on TikTok. I would say if you are going to be in this kind of sphere, be ready and be fearful of what comes next down the road. We're already hearing about how Zuckerberg wants to do changes and how Elon Musk is doing his changes and YouTube doing its changes. Keep your heads on a swivel out there. But I'm glad that TikTok's back. But folks, this isn't over. Not by a long shot. We are going to be in this kind of situation for the next 4 years, and you could thank Democratic and Republican lawmakers for creating this environment in which free speech is very well at risk. But it's also important for us to rewind the clock. Because right now, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who are feeling euphoria, who are happy that Trump has gotten into office. But we must remember, we must look back. It wasn't too long ago where he was against it. We have to be clear here. And as Nina Turner pointed out, yes, Trump did push it along. Democrats and Republicans worked together and Biden signed into law. And then, hey, Donald Trump dropped that Uno card, the Uno reverse card. And now he's the hero of restoring TikTok.
When I wanted to disable TikTok 3 years ago, I was met with opposition from rhinos, Democrats, and everyone else. They actually went to court in an effort to stop me. We're looking at TikTok. We may be banning TikTok. We may be doing some other things. There are a couple of options, but a lot of things are happening. So we'll see what happens. But we are looking at a lot of alternatives with respect to TikTok. We gave them until September 15th. After that, they got to close shop. Okay, that's TikTok. We're looking at TikTok. We're thinking about making a decision. We're going to be watching the hearings today very closely because there's no question that what the big tech companies are doing is very bad. TikTok is one thing that we're doing, and we just, I don't know, maybe I would have done that anyway. I don't know. It could have been affected by this.
So there you go. It's very clear what's going on. Trump is the hero now. And I want to acknowledge a Rockfin Super Chat. Thank you. First, Rockfin Super Chat of the inauguration. We do appreciate all Super Chats. Thank you so much. Jenny Tufnell writes, "Hi, Kit. Garland, Nixon, and I think alike. Yesterday, I was singing the Mighty Mouse song about Trump saving TikTok this morning, and I heard Garland singing it LOL. You're not wrong there. I also want to pull up this tweet here as well. Look, I'm glad that it's back. I do not want to see stuff being terminated, destroyed. I don't want to see I don't wish that ill will upon anyone. But yet I am fearful of the big tech influence and of course what comes next on these 4 years of Donald Trump. I hope that things get a little bit easier, that maybe we could return back to a point of meritocracy. I remember a point in my conversation with Jamal Thomas, and yes, even my conversation with Spike Cohen and Larry Sharp. Okay? I've been having a wide range of guests on the show. Yeah, even Missy Winston, too. We were talking about it. YouTube at one point, social media at one point was a meritocracy. This whole thing going against TikTok is stupid. And let's be clear, it's not because of China. It's because of what was being shared on TikTok was the crisis in Gaza. Are we clear on that? We should be. And I hope all of you are well aware of that as well. And yes, folks, they're still right now lining in people for the inauguration. No, Trump hasn't been sworn in yet. He's having tea time with Biden, and I'm wondering if Biden is functioning at all. But I want to read this tweet from Easy Street from Caitlin Johnstone, who's done some phenomenal work. TikTok is back in the U.S. because Trump pledged to reverse the Biden administration shutdown, and a Gaza ceasefire finally emerged due to pressure from Trump after Biden stalled for, 15 months. Remember this. It's not that Trump is good. It's that Democrats are just that bad. Trump will go on to do many evil things as president, just as he did during his first term. But none of this will reverse the fact that Biden just spent 4 years advancing genocide, nuclear brinkmanship, and authoritarianism, which is what happened. Vote blue no matter who. The Democrat Party plays a crucial role in promoting the tyranny and abuse of the U.S. empire as the Republican Party does, and it's nonsensical to think that either of them as a lesser evil. The empire itself must end. And folks, listen, red note, red note, red note, red note. Looks like they're on the chopping block next.
Apps. He raised the question of Red Note. Well, guess what? If TikTok users flood to Red Note, they're going to face the same challenge there because it's also controlled by the Communist Party. Second, the senator's made a lot about some affidavit by some intelligence community official in some case. I don't know what it's referring to. I do know this. I've been on the Intelligence Committee for 10 years. I chair it now. I've heard the testimony of senior leaders that TikTok poses a grave threat to our national security and our people's well-being. But also know this. Third, you don't need intelligence. TikTok's own internal documents reveal the threat that it poses to Americans. The state attorneys generals have brought lawsuits to defend their people. Those lawsuits have produced documents that show chapter and verse exactly what TikTok has done to Americans.
Listen, TikTok, in my own controversial statement in a 3, 2, 1, is no different than what you see on Instagram or X or YouTube or any other social media platform. All right. Now, does social media play a role in warping our minds and trying to show us how we should live or think? Are there things in which influencers can twist our minds or make us think that we're not good enough? Yes. Yes, this happens. But I want to remind all you people that yes, the internet can be used for good, informing us of wars or corruption or abuse of power. And yes, the internet's also filled with absolute trash. Remember, folks, you're doing just fine. Okay. Just because you see some influencer living the high life, some of those images and videos are probably and most likely edited. And if you see your favorite influencer in Dubai, if you want to look into it, why they're in Dubai, you've been warned. Don't look into it.
And finally, we keep hearing it's only 270 days. It's only 270 days. In 270 days, that is what TikTok will say again, because it will not have been sold. Because Chinese communists won't allow it to be sold. Because it's not just another app. It's not Instagram or Facebook or X or anything else. It is a Chinese communist spy app.
So when big tech spies on you, every one of you just take it up the wazoo. That's what they want you to do. They just want you to shut up, follow the orders. And that's that. By the way, they're still having tea time at the White House, Biden and Trump and their wives. Hey, folks, no such thing as a wrong answer, but be creative. What are they talking about right now? But also in regards to the TikTok ban, these two decided to weigh in. Bert and Ernie. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Ben Shapiro and Tim Pool. Fun times indeed.
TikTok should be banned. Well, maybe not banned, but they should be required to divest. And TikTok should be brought under American interest, I should say. China does not have free speech in the United States, but we were just talking about this. I'm curious.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, obviously. The CCP is running TikTok.
Yes. Even though when they were testifying before Congress, again, they were trying to make it very clear that it wasn't a tool of the Chinese government. But let's be clear, even if China is spying in, and probably, yeah. I mean, what's different than how the CIA, NSA, FBI are spying in on you? I mean, how many stories have we done here at Hard Lens Media about you and your information being taken without your consent? But Tim and Benny, 10,000 years of Tim and Benny, are saying that's bad. Say that to Trump.
The proof's in the pudding. If TikTok is a for-profit enterprise that is designed to maximize profit, ByteDance would sell it. ByteDance is not right. They'd rather shut it down than sell it, which means it's just an informational gathering and propaganda tool on behalf of the CCP. And fuck the CCP.
I thought I was very confident we were winning the culture war, but now seeing so many prominent people on the right advocate for Chinese interests in mass media to 170 million people plus 7 million individuals who run businesses under the control of Chinese interests, it has to be particularly worrying. But we'll see.
And my question is, honestly, so they're shutting down TikTok, so you're like, but people are actually going and hitting them with red notes and actual just straight Chinese, like, how is that? What? That doesn't seem super America first, to be honest with you.
Right. We'll see, man. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Hey, by the way, remember, these guys like to say that they're free speech absolutists, right? No. See, it's people like that that are quick to jump on board for censorship in their own right, okay? You see that on the right, you see that on the left, you see that in the extreme brunch crowd and neoliberal center. TikTok being restored. Fantastic. Did the Democrats literally crap the bed? Oh, absolutely they did. The Democrats failed miserably to the standard of which I'm only going to wonder how long this political party and institution can still last. I mean, they are a joke. And of course, every single one of them wants to make a scene. They want to start putting on this fake resistance against Trump. And we're seeing the glorious parades. Shout out to my colleague and good friend, Nick Thompson, who I did invite, but unfortunately he's right now recovering. But he's the one who came up with the phrase parades, which is what we're calling the protests in front of Trump Tower. That's what it was from 2016 up until the end of the first Trump presidency. Those were nothing more than glorified parades. And because people still suffer from Trump derangement syndrome, I don't think there's anything that's going to be done. So beware of any of these quick pop-up groups that are going to try and be resistance, because if it's about sheep herding you into the Democrat Party, remember the Logan Roy quote. Tell them that you love them, but that they're not serious people. And you know what? If anyone's got a story like that where you say that to somebody, please let Hard Lens Media know. Let me know, because you guys and gals are awesome. But we continue on because after seeing Tim Pool and Ben Shapiro speak, after hearing how the Democrats have failed and how they more or less played into Trump's hands, let's get a palate cleanser. I will not interrupt this video, but let's hear from somebody who speaks truth to power. You know him, JB from Revolutionary Blackout Network. Sorry about that, folks. Thought I had it up there. My bad. Again, wise words from JB.
Well, looks like we're back. So TikTok is now officially back. Now, I want you guys to make this very abundantly clear when it comes to TikTok being back. Remember who originally wanted to ban TikTok? Wasn't it Donald Trump? Absolutely. Who signed it into law for it to get banned? Joe Biden. So, even though Donald Trump is trying to get credit for this, he was the original one that put TikTok into harm's way. Also, think about this. Think about who also put TikTok in harm's way. Mark Zuckerberg and Meta, right? He was one of the people who we should blame for this. Also, who we should also blame is the is not real. The blue and white flag country, yeah, they're the ones who also with the ADL. They're the ones who also try to make it sure that we do not have TikTok anymore. So yeah, even though Donald Trump technically reversed things for TikTok, but remember, he's the one that put TikTok in harm's way in the first place. So he doesn't deserve credit for this either, even though people have amnesia when it comes to this. So let's be real. All right. The fact is that they just showed you that they're willing to take away your right to free speech. And so do not let your foot off the gas when it comes to actually fighting for free speech and fighting for a platform that actually allows us to democratize information. All right. Because they still are going to try to keep and wrestle our ability to share information out of our hands. So look, celebrate for a little bit, but the work is not finished. And we also need to start organizing in person on these streets in order to change the system. We know that what they're capable of, even though they pull back, look, we gotta fight. And the fight still continues. And let this period radicalize you. Stay up, folks.
Absolutely. Which, by the way, just a quick update too. Turns out President Biden and President Trump will travel together to the U.S. Capitol. Mind you guys, again, it's pretty cold here in Chicago, probably most likely cold there in D.C. But since D.C. is a place where all things go to die, there's probably no sense of warmth or humanity there, because looking at the crowd of people that are inside this building right now, it tells me that our corporate overlords and their puppets, I mean, their property, I mean, I'm sorry, our U.S. representatives and senators and people of influence are going to keep the machine going along as they should all the time, every time, because that's the kind of nightmare situation we are in with neoliberalism. But see, the sad fact is that we are now in a time in which free speech, our social media platforms are at risk of being done, opposed. And I am concerned about a future that's uncertain. Now more than ever, we need to continue to fight to be free speech absolutists. We must continue to fight to support independent media. And yes, folks, we must stand against these politicians that want to censor. Because remember, let's say you're on board with the censorship. Let's say you're on board with what happened at TikTok. What's stopping our wonderful politicians from deciding what else should be gone? Maybe it's something that you care about. And let's say there's a creator that you don't like. You know, they're across, they think differently than you, politically or socially. Well, if they go, so can somebody that you like, or either that maybe your opinions will no longer be posted. We've all gone through it in some form or another, being censored. And as much as I would love for YouTube to go back to its default position of being a meritocracy, or at least as close to it as possible, it's clear to me that we are still in this fight. Donald Trump has achieved a massive victory over the Democrats with TikTok, to be clear. And yes, he did play a role in it. And I also want to give a huge shout out to one of our subscribers here, B, who wrote, I forgot how Meta was pushing for TikTok to go down. Good point, JB. Shout out to JB. He does some very good stuff. Yes. Dan Burr says, haha, good one, Jenny. Let's try again. F censorship. Absolutely. Stand against censorship. Jenny Lynn. Absolutely. F censorship. I agree with that. Want to continue on it even further. So there you go. And look, Chicago Great One, I hear what you're saying. Absolutely. Look, I understand. And yeah, I'm not lifting finger to care if someone like TYT gets censored. F them. I hear you. And you know what? I respect your opinion. But even then, if that happens, I'm like, whoa, that's not good. Because when that happened to AJ way back, Alex Jones, way back in 2018, not a fan of him. Okay. But when he got censored and suppressed and was kicked off, I'm like, okay. Me and Daniel just kind of were like there for a moment. We paused. This is when we were on radio, and we were like, huh. Oh, no. Here comes that tsunami. Were we proven correct? Yes. Now, I understand there's channels that you guys and gals don't like, but I got to be consistent on it. All right. This is just me speaking. I don't want to see that happen to anyone. All right. There's going to be exchange of ideas. Let debates happen. Let conversations happen. But I am fearful of that big jackboot in the sky. So TikTok has returned. So be it. But now what comes next?